Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to see the Indian financial system in overview as a part of the commercial bank management subject. So, Indian financial systems have different functions, predominantly the collection of savings and distribution for industrial investment and stimulating capital formation and accelerating the economic growth is also the basic functions of Indian financial system. So, the financial system have the specific structures which consist different regulatory bodies like RBI, SEBI, IRDA and PFRDA, financial intermediaries, financial markets, and then financial assets and instruments. We can divide the Indian financial system evolution into different time frames. So up to 1951, the more number of private sector participation was there in financial system, and between 1951 to 1990, it's more of the public sector contributions, and early 90s, particularly during the liberalization and the early part of the globalization, so different structures were formed. So we are going to see what is the contribution in each and every phase of Indian financial system. So it's actually the process of capital formations. It involves three distinct although interrelated activities. So if you take any financial systems, the system consists of savings, finance and investments. So the savings, the ability by which resources are set aside and become available for other purposes. Finance is an activity by which claims to resources are either assembled from those released by domestic savings, obtained from abroad or specifically created, usually a bank deposit or notes, and then placed in the hands of the investor. So if we take investments, it's an activity by which resources are actually committed to production. So what is the key aspect of Indian financial system is it's an orderly mechanism and structure in the economy. Most of the time it brings order in the system. It mobilizes the monetary resources and capital from surplus sectors. From that surplus, they distribute resources to the needy sectors, and it transforms the savings into investment and consumption, and it always helpful for the financial markets whereby all the activities are taking place, where the above mentioned activities right from the investment to the mobilization happens in the financial markets. So let us see the different time frame in which the financial system evolves in India. If you take pre 1951 period, that's before our independence, uh, there are so many private sector players, particularly the money lenders control the markets. Literally, there is no law or a regulator for controlling the activities, so it's a more like a private sector domination. Hardly any industrialization happened, so that's the reason why more number of private players involved and no public contributions happened. And banks are operated by traditional lenders. Most of the time, it's for the short-term purposes. So the main concentration for the entire financial lending or the mobilization happened only for agriculture purposes, and it's have a very narrow industrial securities market, particularly the gold, bullion or metal, but closely associated with the London markets. So before 1951, there is an absence of intermediary institutions in long-term financing of the industry. So industry had a very limited access to the outside savings and resources. And before the liberalization, it's a lengthy period between 1951 to 1990. Everything happened. Most of the modern day institutions were either started in 1951 to 1960 time frame. So 1951, the starting point of the 5-year plans, and more public contribution comes into the markets or the system, and very private sector contributions were either controlled or curtailed. So it's called private sectors to public sector. It's a mixed economy system. So the first 5-year plan in 1951, it's for the planned economic process, and they want to have an alignment of financial systems, and government have the policies or priorities for all the mechanisms to control the markets. So they devise the main elements of financial organizations. So the following aspects have happened in 1951 to 1990. The public ownership of financial institutions happened, and strengthening of institutional structures also happened. There is more number of protection to the investors' money than what we had it in before 1951 period, and emergence of corporate management systems and organizational deficiencies were also addressed. So this hope this gives you some idea about what happened before 1951 and before and between 1951 to 1990 period. And in our next video, we will going to see in detail about the liberalization and globalization effect on the financial systems. Thanks for watching. Keep learning and growing.